The letter came on a gray morning, tucked between a handful of grocery flyers and a past-due electric bill. Notice of benefit termination. Those were the first words that caught Mom's eye. She stood at the kitchen counter, thumb tracing the government seal at the top, as if maybe she'd read it wrong. But no, it was there in plain print. The assistance that had helped her fill the pantry each month was ending. For a long minute, she just stared out the small window above the sink. Traffic hummed in the distance, and the fridge gave a soft rattle each time the compressor kicked on. She thought about the cereal box already half empty, the bread down to its last 2 slices, and how prices had been climbing faster than her pay ever did. "Everything okay, Mom?" her daughter asked from the table, pencils and paper scattered around the homework she'd been working on. Mom folded the letter quietly, sliding it beneath the mail stack. "Yeah, honey, just thinking about dinner." Dinner. The word always brought a sense of weight these days, not the cooking itself, but what it took to make it happen. By the next morning, Mom had already pulled out her notebook, the one where she scribbled down prices and meals. She made a new list, this time without assuming anything would come easy. No more guaranteed benefits meant no cushion. Every dollar had to stretch until it squeaked. She sat with her coffee, opening an app she'd downloaded a few months earlier but never really used, Flip, a digital collection of local grocery flyers. She typed ground beef into the search bar. Within seconds, it showed the nearby stores and prices. Food Lion had a sale, $6.49 a pound. Kroger's was $7.29. Lidl had buy one get one chicken breasts. She wrote them all down, circling the best deals. For the first time, she realized she didn't have to wander from store to store hoping to spot a sale. The information came to her. It wasn't much, but it was power. A small kind of control in a world that seemed designed to take it away. That night, she made her plan. "We're going to try something new," she told her daughter. "Reverse recipes." Her daughter looked up from her coloring book. "What's that?" "It means we look at what's on sale and then figure out what to cook, not the other way around." The girl nodded like it was an adventure. "Can I help?" "Always," Mom said, smiling. The first week without SNAP was rough. She learned fast that the little things added up, how dried beans cost a fraction of canned ones if you just let them soak overnight, how a bag of rice stretched across multiple meals, how a slow cooker turned the cheapest cuts of meat into tender dinners. She found a whole rotisserie chicken on sale for $6.99, oddly cheaper than buying a whole uncooked chicken. The first night, they ate it warm with green beans and a few roasted potatoes. The second night, she shredded the leftovers into tortillas with a spoonful of salsa. The third, she boiled the bones for broth, adding rice and carrots to make soup. 3 meals from 1 chicken, she told her daughter proudly. Her daughter laughed. "That's like magic." Mom smiled. "More like planning." Between shifts at the daycare center, Mom scrolled through online forums. One thread on Reddit/frugal caught her eye. People posting screenshots of their grocery hauls, sharing price books, tips on stockpiling sale items, and even recipes for the odd leftovers everyone seemed to end up with. She didn't post at first, just read. But soon, she began leaving small comments. "Thanks for the idea," or "I tried that with lentils, worked great." She wasn't alone anymore. Over the next few weeks, the kitchen became her classroom. On Sundays, she cooked in bulk, spaghetti sauce, bean chili, slow-cooked stew. She'd ladle leftovers into freezer containers labeled with masking tape. "Future dinners," she called them. Her daughter helped too, writing the dates in her neat, blocky handwriting. "This one's for when you're tired, Mom," she'd say, setting a container in the freezer. Mom began noticing something unexpected. She wasn't just scraping by, she was learning. Learning to see food not as a struggle but as a puzzle she could solve. When the flyers came each week, she opened them with curiosity instead of dread. "Let's see what the game plan is," she'd say. Some nights, they'd make chili with dried beans, soaked overnight, simmered slow until the kitchen smelled warm and safe. Other nights it was pasta tossed with spinach and tomatoes, whatever the sale dictated. If she found a family-sized pack of ground beef, she'd cook it all at once, portioning it into freezer bags. Her daughter watched and learned, too. She started to understand that food didn't come from boxes or drive-through windows, it came from planning, patience, and care. Once, while waiting at the bus stop, the girl told a friend, "We make chili from beans that were hard as rocks yesterday." Her friend wrinkled her nose. "That's weird." She shrugged. "Tastes good though, and Mom says it costs almost nothing." It wasn't long before other parents at the daycare began asking Mom for tips. "How do you manage without the benefits?" One asked quietly. Mom thought for a moment. "You plan like it's a mission," she said. "Use those grocery apps. Cook in batches. Don't waste anything. Oh, and crock pots are gold." Her daughter beamed at her from across the room. Sometimes, when the budget got tight, Mom and her daughter made it a game, seeing how many meals they could stretch from what was already in the pantry. They'd pull everything out, lining cans and bags across the counter like soldiers. "What can we make with this?" her daughter would ask. Mom would pretend to study the options. "Looks like we've got rice, black beans, corn, and a can of tomatoes. I'm seeing burrito bowls." They laughed, but the meal always worked. By spring, Mom had a rhythm. The Flip app stayed pinned on her phone. She followed 2 frugal living channels on YouTube and checked the r/frugal community once a week. She'd learned the sales rotated every few weeks: pasta in February, chicken in March, rice in April, and stocked up accordingly. She even bought a small notebook to track prices herself, jotting down what she called her real numbers. When she saw ground beef dip below $6 a pound, she'd buy extra and freeze it. She stopped chasing deals that weren't truly deals. The first time she filled her freezer and still had money left in her wallet, she felt something rare: relief. One evening, her daughter came home with a school flyer. "We're supposed to bring a family recipe to share," she said. Mom hesitated. They didn't have any recipes passed down on fancy cards. Most of hers were built from what was affordable that week. But then she smiled. "Let's share the bean chili," she said. At the class potluck, the teacher asked each child to say a little about their dish. Her daughter stood straight and said, "My mom taught me how to make this with dried beans. You just have to plan ahead. It's cheaper and tastes better." A few parents asked for the recipe. Mom scribbled it on a napkin: beans, tomatoes, onion, chili powder, patience. That night, she realized something profound. She'd gone from depending on help to offering it. The next Sunday, as she prepared her shopping list, she noticed the new flyer mentioned buy one, get one free pasta. She smiled and circled it. "Guess it's spaghetti week," she said aloud. Her daughter, drawing at the table, looked up and nodded approvingly. "Can we use the garlic bread again?" "Sure can, if it's on sale." The radio hummed softly in the background. The kitchen light glowed warm against the fading afternoon. Mom felt steady again. Not rich, not even comfortable, but capable. She thought of all the people she'd met online who traded ideas like seeds, each one sprouting somewhere else in another kitchen. She thought of her daughter learning not just how to eat but how to live smart. Food was still expensive. Life was still uncertain. But the fear had dulled, replaced by something more enduring: resourcefulness. And every time she looked at her slow cooker bubbling quietly on the counter, she saw not just dinner, but a symbol of their survival. Her daughter came up behind her, wrapping small arms around her waist. "Smells good, Mom. It's stew night," she said. "Carrots were half off, remember?" The girl grinned. "We're winning, huh?" Mom laughed softly. "Yeah, baby, we're winning." The two of them set the table: mismatched plates, a flickering candle, and a sense of calm that money couldn't buy. Outside, city lights blinked on, one by one, as the evening settled over the neighborhood. Inside, there was warmth, food, and love. And for Mom, that was enough. If you enjoyed this story, please like and subscribe for more stories of everyday courage.